the learning. This is the same algorithm I use now for blended learning. So these are the questions you can ask yourself. And my point is always, it is good to try to change your teaching and use methods, but think and give yourself, reflect yourself on, will it be better? Because it takes a lot of work. And as we know now from Blaž, and as I saw with all the partners of the Polyflip project, it worked for them, but it was very well thought through. So you really have to think clearly about what you want to do and what will be good to do. Okay, again, a video to watch later. So we mapped ourselves and our team, and now we will create a blended learning plan. What we did for you and also for all the courses I already gave on blended learning and flipped classroom learning, it isn't possible to jump in it like that. Sometimes it's like growing from an idea and then coming to a certain way of flipping classroom and blended learning and then going further. But if you use the templates we made, you can think more in depth about how will I do it, what will I do, what will be okay, etc. And during day 2 and 3 of this week, you will use these forms. I have put the links here, but I will go through it in the presentation. You will use these forms to make your plan. I know that some of you, and many of you, I think, already have a flipped classroom course, but I want to bring it to a higher level, or I would like you to take another subject that you also teach and to start from scratch. That's up to you. That's up to what you want to do with our trainings, but make it something that is useful for you and for your students and for your institution. So on day 4 of this week, you will present your ID, a follow-up of what you already have or a new ID. And then on day 5, Lester and me will explain together with Maya what will be the content of the training in August. And during the training in August, you will get all the tools. I will stop telling you theory. It will all be practical and trying out and realizing things so that when you go home, then you have a new blended learning course or a good start to realize it. Okay.
Lut, just one remark. There was a comment in the chat that the last linked learning path draft needs permission to open.
Oh,
just so that we do not forget. Okay.
Yeah, okay. I will give that permission. I tried out everything. You see, this is what it's so wonderful if it happens, because it shows what I want to tell. If a link isn't working, it's annoying. It stops you from learning. So I have to check it again. I'm sorry. I will do that. So the last one. Okay. So what I don't know if you do it already, but one of the things we will definitely add to your flipped or your blended learning and teaching is conditionality. We want the modules that you use for the teaching in a blended learning or a flipped classroom way. We want you to use conditionality so that students can only go from one part of the course to the next part if they passed a test, or and that can be online. You don't have to do all the tests yourself, or if they did something. So we add conditions to going from one model to another. So this is also something you have to take into consideration when you think about an idea for a blended or flipped classroom course, because it's so important. If they can skip everything, They will skip parts of the things they would have to learn and they didn't learn. So for us, the conditionality is really important, and we will add it in Moodle. So already think about it. The first template we have is the first ID template. That's a very simple template you can use in your team or individually to think about, okay, what will be the topic of my flipped classroom course or of my blended learning course? What topic or part of a topic will I choose? And once you know that, you can already think what would be interesting to teach online for me as a teacher and for the students to learn before coming to the class, and which part of the content do I as a teacher really have to teach in class, and the students have to be there with the knowledge they gained from the online part. And then how will I divide the content in modules? And think about the conditionality. Think about dividing in modules where you go from the first to the other, not always with conditions, but there are conditions mostly of the time. So you can download the template, but please don't, and that is why I changed things yesterday. It was editable. So if someone of you was editing it online, it would be visible for everyone, and the others wouldn't have an empty template anymore. So you can download it and you can use it to discuss about your first ID. And remember, please, that blended and flipped classroom learning uses digital technology, but it doesn't have all to be videos. There can be other things also. For example, an instruction that you give online, or a part of a text that they have to read, some questions they have to answer, etc., etc. Don't think that everything you want to teach them online has to be video material. That isn't true. So that is the first ID document. In a face-to-face situation and in a situation where we have a small group, I would give you now in Zoom breakout rooms, or put you together in little teams and ask you, discuss already about what you want to do. Now it is a little difficult, but as a tool for now, with a big group and without seeing each other face to face, I could ask you, and you can do it if you want, if you have an idea, put it in the chat. I can go over the chat later, and it's interesting for me to see what are your ideas, what do you want to do? So this is one of the tools you could use, the chat function in Zoom or Teams. So this is one of the documents you will need for your presentation to think over. What will be your topic? What will be the content you want to teach? You think now of teaching online in the class, and what are the different modules, taking into account that more than 5 modules is very much. So 5 to 6, not more modules. Good. Then I don't know if you are if you already know the Canvas model, the Canvas or the model Canvas. It is a template that was used at first for people who wanted to start a business, and when they had their business proposition and wanted to find people to sponsor them or to be their partners, they had to present this kind of model and this kind of elements about their business. This is their business model, and we transferred this model to a blended learning or flipped classroom Canvas model, because it contains of every question you have to answer for yourself. You have to have in mind when you want to start using blended learning for a particular content. And I know that it's rather small, but you can also see it online. One of the first things you have to do is to think about the target group. The target group and your relation with the target group. The target group is, who are you creating this course for? And what is the group size will also be important. And do you already know these students? Do you already used flipped or blended learning with them or not? The target group relationship. Then you have to think about the value propositions. And for you, of course, that is, what is the content of your course? How do you want to realize the course objectives? And what do you want the students to know and to take with them after going through your course, after taking your course? That is the value that you will add for them, the value for their learning and for their knowledge. Then we have also to think about how will I do it? How, and that was also in the first template a question. How will I realize the learning objectives? How will I give my students all the knowledge? What do I need for that? Do I need a lot of online existing material? Do I need to make new material? Do I need to write my own course or parts of a course? Do we have a course that we can use? Is there a material available, etc.? So comes also together with the key resources. Then also, who are my partners? Who am I working with? Am I working in a team? Then you can divide the work. Is there someone in the team that has way more ICT skills than another person? Someone who can present very well in front of a camera, someone who can very well edit videos. You don't have to know everything yourself. It's so important to work with the team. Then you feel as a team that you can do more than when you are alone. And then we come, and that's at the end of this document, what will I gain and what will my students gain from this method, and what will it cost me and my students? And of course, what will it cost me and my students is about the pitfalls. We talked about the dropout. Is there a possibility that they will more easy drop out, and what can I do about it? What will be the time investment for yourself? And the thing there will be, start small. Don't try to blend or flip everything at once. No, start small and it will grow. And what are the needs I have? Do I need more software? We will provide you, Lester and me, with tools that are all free. But of course, some of the tools that are not free are better. But we will try for every tool, the video editing, everything we use, we will provide you with a version that is free. We cannot promise that next year it will still be free. We don't know that. Sometimes producers of software make you addicted to their programs, and then it changes from free into having to be paid. But we will provide you with the free tools and also with the basic information. For example, video editing. That is the basic of editing video is the same in every program. So you will get the knowledge and then you will be able to use it with different tools. So, but that is also one of the things, what are my hard and software needs? And then the revenues. If I want my students to succeed, how can I then overcome the obstacles that are there, and how will they make me and my students stronger? What will be the outcome and the outcome for my students? And how will I evaluate if my teaching, what we did with the Polyflip project, we did 0 test before they started, and then a post-test afterwards, so that we could see the difference between learning perception, learning teaching perception, but also the teaching and learning results. That is, of course, also important. These are questions that could look very theoretical, but if you start with a new course, and even when you have an existing course, it can be very interesting to go over them, to find the pitfalls, to find the obstacles, and to see how you can overcome them. So you can also add to the chat, or if I would start break up out rooms now, what your worries are. What are the things you are worried about when starting with new content in a blended or a flipped classroom way? Maybe worries in your institution, maybe worries about hard and software, can be anything. And if you already feel that there are advantages, you can also share them. But I would understand if now you share mostly your worries. That is no problem. You can do it while I am talking. Good. So we have now seen a very general template to think, what will I provide in a blended or flipped way? And what are the things I have to go through and to think about? Once you have that, there is a third document, a third template that can help you. And that is the storyboard. And the storyboard is something that comes from film industry. When a movie is made, there is always a storyboard. A storyboard is like a little cartoon where every scene in the movie is explained with words or with little drawings. We can use that idea also in blended and flipped learning creation by thinking about the outline of our course. For example, what are how will I do the introduction? Will I do an introduction in class so that the students already saw me, and then they have some content to go through online, and then they come to the class? This is a good way of thinking about it, but it's also important that you add the learning objectives to every part. And for the learning objectives, I think you know this taxonomy of Bloom already, but I put it here maybe for you to remember it. It is important that when we formulate objectives, that we think in the different layers. By the way, there is also a 3D model of the Bloom taxonomy, which is way bigger, but this is the easy, just one flat model you can use. It wouldn't be very okay, in my opinion, if the only thing your students have to do is to recall facts and to remember basic concepts. And that is one of the objectives you can have, but hopefully you go further than that. You also want them to understand the concepts and to explain the concepts and the ideas from your course. One step higher is to also apply what they learned to use the information in new situations. They can also make connections that goes further than analyzing, that goes further than applying, that is really analyzing the content that is already at a rather high level. And of course, they can also look at information from different points of view and then give their personal feedback on it, their viewpoint, evaluate the information. And on the top of the list comes to create their own content, to produce and create new or original work. These are the 6 parts that can help you to think about the objectives. What do you want them already to know before coming to the classroom in the flipped part will mostly normally be remember and understand, maybe also already apply. When you use the flipped and blended method to teach, you will have more time to work in your class, applying, analyzing, and evaluating content. And maybe then they go home with an assignment or an assessment to create something new. So use this taxonomy, but I think you know it already, to formulate or to think about the objectives you want to reach with your students. Good. And this is the whole storyboard. So you will see that you can bring together there the things you put in the first templates. The description of the course, of course, is what is the content. Then the proportion of face-to-face and distance learning. It's best that you have 30 to 70% of distance learning, not more than 70%. Less than 30% is a bit, yeah, it's not enough, I think. Then what is your group size? It will also change the way of your teaching. Is it small, intermediate, or large? Then you have the course objectives. And then you have the online course content, the face-to-face course content. And then how will you evaluate? Of course, what is your target group? What are your needs? And what is your outcome? You see the shadow, the storyboard is a bit like the model canvas, but it brings the first and the second template together. The tool I used here is not only a Google document in Google Docs, but also an online form you can fill in with all these elements so that I can also see what you are thinking about, and Lester and me can then use your questions and the things you will need in the training, the practical training in August. So we would like you to fill in the online form before the end of this week, because you will have thought about it already, so it's interesting for us to know. And don't forget the PICRET model, because also that will be something to take into consideration when formulating your objectives and thinking about what will I give online and what tools will I use. Are there questions? Please dare to stop me from talking and ask your questions. Okay, I go on. And you, yeah, I hear someone.
Yeah, it's me, just a comment.
Gassan. Okay, yeah, Gassan.
I mean, all what you have presented is a very nice things to do, actually, from the lecturer's perspective. And I think that's the least, in my opinion, to worry about. What my main concern, I mean, with all these ideas and methods, etc., whether it's within the flipped learning or flipped classroom approach or blended learning, is the institutional culture, I mean, within the university, which actually, in my opinion, need lots of work and effort to change that mentality, to change some of the, I don't know, rules and regulations. And as I said, the main effort is there, training the lecturers to adopt the flipped classroom or blended learning could be the easiest among that. Adding to the culture is the student attitude and I don't know, the overall culture within the, at least we're talking about our community or our Palestinian context. So that's the main concern. Rashid has mentioned one of the issues of it needs lots of work. That's definitely true if you want to go for new teaching or learning methods. That's absolutely harder in that sense, or needs more time and effort than the traditional way of teaching, because it's the easiest way is just to go into the classroom and then start talking for 50 or 1 hour. That could be the easiest among all the other efforts that could be or methods that could be used. So that the teaching, or sorry, training the lecturers for flipped learning or blended learning or any of those methods, in my opinion, is the easiest part within the overall context of higher education. Thank you.
Yeah, okay. Thank you for your concerns. I totally agree. But as I told you, you can start small. You can start by, most of you are using, for example, videos, but if you use them in an interactive way and you have small tools to do that, you start already with something and you can let it grow. And the culture of a contact, of an institution, and even of a whole community is very important. But it's like a train that is already, on the way, and slowly it will come. So getting the knowledge already, using it for small things, asking, for example, your students before coming to class, watch this video, read this text, etc., can already do something. So don't feel it's not for us because our institution is not into it. There is always a way to do it. And we will just provide you with tools and with information. And then it's up to you to choose what you do with it. And I know when I was teaching this also in other countries, it's almost everywhere the same reaction at first, but then when you start the practical part and you feel the enthusiasm of the teachers and of the students using these new ways of interacting and learning, etc., you feel the change, and the change can be small and can be as if there's nothing changing, but it is already changing. So the fact that you are all here now taking this course and thinking about and sharing your ideas, that's wonderful. And that's the start. And it can't go all at the same pace. I understand that very much. And the concerns about it is easier to just teach in class. I have to say no. It is a lot of work to use other tools, but once you have them, you gain time. And that is something that we will try to also make you experience.
Yeah, that's true, Lut. I mean, I've been trying sort of blended and flipped classrooms in the past years, but on a very small scale. I mean, I'm not designing, or actually I'm not allowed to design the whole course in as a blended learning course, or even a complete flipped learning. And either I mean, it's not possible for the time being. But what personally try to do sometimes is to have certain small modules of certain courses and try to, let's say, experiment or try it with this flipped learning approach. But well, there is lots of ups and downs for that.
Yeah, okay, but that is totally understandable, and I hope that we can, give you some ideas to make it easier for you and doable for you, even with the very small things you are trying to do, which is wonderful, which I want to congratulate you for. Thank you.
Thank
Lut,
you.
maybe just an addition, Dr. Hassan, we were actually at right about the same point as we are now, and I remember the comments, and I remember my professors telling me this will be so much work, I just don't have time, which is, you said it's not a big concern, but for most lecturers I think this will be a concern. And then it was always also the question, how will the students react? And what I want to say is that when you will come to Slovenia, an emphasis will be put also on our teachers and our management presenting how they feel about it now. And we will present also not only good practice examples, but we will present analysis of students' questionnaires now. And we will send it to you even before, now the case study report. And I think, as Lut said, all of this will be, it will not happen overnight, but the first decision has been made. And with all of these aspects, the students' questionnaire, the case study reports, the case studies themselves, I think that's what we need. And that's why we have such Erasmus projects, so that we have time and resources to look at it from all perspectives. But as you said, a lot of things need to be considered, and I'm very happy for the comments, because this is very valuable input also for the concept, the institutional context and all the rest. So thank you for your comments.
Thank you.
Thank you, Maya.
Thank
Lut,
you also.
I have a question. Is
Yes,
it okay?
Dolores? Yes.
Yeah, this is a little bit a concern. Not only the time, which I also agree with the colleagues, but and I trust you very much. Therefore, I'm here to learn, and I will give a go. My question is here. I'm teaching soft skills, and one of them, it has to do very much with storytelling. So this is my concern: how I put my practical life, which is what I'm really sharing very much with the students, in such a canvas. You know, this drive me a little bit. Say, how can I put my life on a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Again,
Okay.
it's a huge amount of it's intercultural skills, just for you to have an idea.
Yes.
So how can I narrow down material? This is the question.
The very interesting thing is, because I was abroad so often, I teach in a postgraduate program, intercultural communication and cultural sensitive communication. So I have the same there. But what I use it for then, this method, is they out of class, so before coming to class, I asked them to read and to watch case studies. So they already see things, they already have questions, they already have feelings when they come to the class. And then I give the theory, and then we go and the storytelling, and then we go into discussion about it. So I use it for rather the same content as you do. So it will be very interesting to share our ideas about it. And it's doable.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Other questions still now?
Excuse me, I have a comment.
Yes, Jalal?
Yes. I see that most the effort, not only in Palestine, but also all around the world, most efforts are toward capacity building of the teachers, how to develop their content in these methodologies and approaches. And I think we need some efforts to be toward the students themselves. They had to learn how to learn from these approaches and how to use these approaches. Or else in pack-rat model, most of the students will stay in the passive category, let's see. So I think there must be an effort toward teaching the students how to use such a method, how to interact and collaborate with these methods.
I think what you say is very true. What we do in our university is in a first introduction week, we introduce them to what they will have to do and how they will have to do it. And if they don't know, if their knowledge is not well enough, they can take a special course on the use of digital media, digital tools, etc. But the method itself is introduced generally for all students or all the new students in a kind of introduction week, and then again in every course. So there are some things I could share with you also about organization, the information and the instructions for the students. It can also be organized, if possible, of course, in your institution. But I can share the ideas we have about that. Is that an answer to your question?
Yes, and okay, you answered my question, and I think I have to say to my colleague, the Palestinian colleague, we must take this into account in these projects or in other activities for us as a Palestinian teachers towards our students.
Yeah. Okay, if you want, if that would be a question, you will have lots of questions after this week. Lester and me can also provide ideas for that in the week we will have in Slovenia, which, by the way, I think, Maya, we have to discuss that could also be partly followed hybridly. So who can't come can also follow our course and the things we will provide there. But please give us your questions beforehand. We are not giving you a course that we have and we do it in every country the same. No, we adapt it to your needs, your concerns, and your context. Okay. Bilal, do you have a question?
Actually, I have a question regarding how to motivate students to engage in these activities, because I think if we are going to go to more learner-centered approach, there is a culture of trust between the faculty member and his students to build before implementing any kind of learner-centered approach.
Yes, okay, that's true. And my colleague Lester is specialized in that, give workshops around student motivation, and will also show you tools and ways to motivate students to keep engaged. And of course, what also works in Belgium is that when you use Moodle as a learning management system, you can follow on the spot and yeah, you can see everything your student did. So we use both, we motivate them, we have gamification, we have a lot of tools we use, but at the other hand, we also show them. The first lesson, I show them, look, I'm Big Brother. I can see how long you watched the video, how long you spent to do that exercise, how long you spent to go through the module, etc. So we have both. We can show you, and then you can choose what you want, both or some of them. But there are many ways to motivate the students, and and to make them aware that it's necessary that they go through it. One of the tools I always use, it's very simple. You will have to present on Thursday your idea. You're a big group. I can't let the whole group present. What I do with my students, and sometimes I have groups of 400, and they all do what they have to do, because I say, I will choose randomly who will present. So they have to do their work, because they have to be there and they have to present if I randomly choose them. These are very small and very little tools we use, but they work. And we have others, but we will not all, we are not able to tell them all today. It will be for the training in Slovenia. Good. Do we have more questions for now? No, I will continue, and don't hesitate to interrupt me. Okay, again, a video, and then we come to creating a learning path, because what I often see when I go through the way people use Moodle or Blackboard or the other learning management systems is that they have like a list for their course of all the content that the students can download, and that's it. But that is not a learning path, and that is not learning and teaching in a blended way. You have to make this content very well thought through, and it is a path that the students take to learn, not just downloading PDFs or links to videos. No, it is really a path with a structure. And that is the fourth part you have to go through. Once you have the course in mind, the content in mind, and can be little, can be a little part of your content, you will have to create a tree structure, and that will be the tree structure that will appear in the Moodle environment. And here I, for example, give one for everything around working with flipped classroom. Module 1 is theory. You do it at home, and the estimated time is 30 minutes. Module 2, the advantages and the pitfalls. You do it at home. Estimated time you need, 20 minutes. This is already one of the tips Lester will also give you. I already did it before. You have to tell how long it will take to go through the material. If students know that, they are more motivated to go to take it till the end. Of course, don't say 24 hours, that will not motivate them, but divide your content in pieces that are doable for your students. For example, then module 3, get inspired. There is a face-to-face class with an introduction and a class discussion. Then module 4, at home, only takes 10 minutes. Module 5, how to make a learning path and and use a learning management system. You can choose there. We also have sometimes that we let our students choose, come to the class or stay home. 40 minutes theory, 20 minutes peer learning, then the creation, online or in class, and then the assignments. This is the learning part. This is the part they have to go through, and they can't skip one of the modules. They have to go through one by one, and it can be that you decide only to show the first one, and then at a certain moment the second one, etc. With a learning management system, the name tells it, you can manage the learning. And what I always see when institutions use Moodle or another system, they don't use it as a learning management system. They just use it as a kind of server where all the information is on. But that is not blended and flipped classroom learning in a learning path that is just providing material. So we have to change that concept in our heads. So when we put a learning path in a learning management system, we can track the progress, structure the content, save time, add interactivity, and stay in contact. And that is what Moodle in your situation, because I think everyone is using Moodle, should be used for. And often it is only used for a very small part of it. So in our training, we will also show how you can use Moodle really as a learning management system if you don't do yet. Maybe you do it yet. So how will the tree structure always look like? Well, I told you already in the beginning, you will have the welcome, you will present yourself. Then the schedule with estimated timing. It is so important that you add it to make sure that the students stay motivated. The objectives the students have to reach, they have to know that beforehand, and how the students can communicate with you. And then you have the topics or the modules. It's not the same as a chapter of a handbook. It is really a part of the course that can be learned and taught in one, as one whole, as one part. Objectives per topic, the lesson content, interactivity, the progress check. You can check with the learning management system how the progress of the students is working. Downloadable material, and then also information about the progression and about the attendance. These are all things that should be in a real good, well-structured learning path used for blended or flipped classroom learning. So I wrote it here a bit in detail that you know it. Always start by introducing yourself. We will also show you how to present in front of a camera, how to use your hands, how to stand, how to be dressed, how to use the camera, how to work with green key, etc. All easy things. Once you know them, you know them. Then a study guide. It is so important that the students have a study guide where they can see, oh, this is what we have to do. This is the time schedule. This will be online and face-to-face. This is the sequence, the deadlines, the content, etc. Then the topics. And also a time estimation per topic. It is an estimation, but it helps the students to know, okay, if I spend now 2 hours, I will be able to go through the module, for example. Then make sure that they understand the topic content, that they can evaluate their knowledge. They will have tests, questions. I don't know if you work with H5P, but that will be the workshop with Lester. He knows everything about H5P and will show you how to be interactive with your students while they are learning. Then encouraging them to make connections with other students, to do peer learning and also get peer feedback is also very important. And then, yeah, also add conditionality. Make the students, for example, with badges feel that, oh, I went to this module, I did my test, I did it good. This is my reward. I am already partly of a professional in this content, etc. And if there are discussions and group work, it is important that you also show that you as a teacher are present sometimes, that you make some little contributions, say how you are working well, etc. That is also part of the motivation. So that is the tree structure that will be in every course. And for example, the tracking, I don't know if you use it, I don't have the time to ask you, but I can, for example, for every of my students with one click, see how many times she went on the course, how many, so she opened the course over a whole year 401 times, and then I can also see how long she spent, etc., per week, etc. So I can download that also and put it in Excel. I can communicate with her, etc. So you can really, with a learning management system, track your students. And honestly, when they know that, for me, it works. I show them the first lesson after they have to do something online and go through a part of the course in Moodle. It's in Canvas in our university. Then I show them, okay, you were, and I projected, you were like 5 minutes on my course. This isn't enough. This is not okay. It's important that they know that. Examples of learning paths you can use or on the you can use as example or on the Moodle course on blended learning on the Moodle site of FTP, of Maya's institution. And Maya, I'm right that they are automatically logged in as a guest, but if they want to see more of the other courses, they should ask for an account. I am right, I think, eh?
They can go directly in. I will share the, you have already the link. So there is no registration and currently also no additional access for something more that will be sent afterwards.
Okay,
so they can go in. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Good. Again, a video. Before we come to the end of this first part, and you are clearly getting your the work you will have tomorrow and after tomorrow, some other tips that they can help your students to get or to stay motivated. There should be in your learning path a variation of contents. Everything in a PDF, that is not preferably, because if students have to go through lots of text and print them or read them online, and that is the only thing you provide them, honestly, then you can just teach in class or say, read this at home and come to class, and then you have a very small flipped classroom, but you add nothing more. And indeed, this could be the easiest way, but it's not the most motivating way. When you use videos, even in your own language or in English, it is important that you subtitle them. It can be done automatically. Lester will also show you how, because students learn in different ways, and sometimes looking at a video and seeing the text gives them a double way of learning. So one of the tips we have is add subtitles to your videos, even if you're in your own language. It can help to learn better. If you use videos that already exist and part of the content doesn't fit with the objectives you have, please take it out. It isn't necessary and useful for the students, and they will stop watching. And split the video and add questions. So almost never provide videos until you take from YouTube that you just give them, always do something with them. That is something, no institution can have something against it. And it's also a tool you can use to motivate your students to go through the video. Then the estimated time, I can't say it strongly enough, it is so important that they know the estimated time. The hyperlinks know that links. The purpose of what they will click on is clear, and you can embed it into Moodle, or you can download the content of the hyperlink so that the link never goes dead. Same with YouTube videos. It is better to download them and upload them in your own channel and give that link, then you are sure that the video will never disappear. Otherwise, maybe you will have a video and a good video and a link to it, and it's gone after a while. We almost never show all the modules at all. Sometimes they see them in a transparent way, and they see, okay, when I finish this module, the next module will appear. Also introduce differentiation in evaluation, in conditionality, and in tracking progress. A student who is not going fast enough, you can provide him with an extra motivational talk you have with him or her, or show that you track the progress, and also talk about the consequences of not doing what the student has to do. And then what is also so important for you is the pitfalls. If you want everything to be perfect from day one, it can't. If you want to share too much content at once, don't do it. If you have doubts about the usefulness and the own ability, take our course and then decide for yourself. We don't say that you have to do it. We will just inspire you and give you some tools, some ideas, etc. Can also be that you miss the basic hard and software. That is a hard one. It's not up to you. Then, yeah, there is a chat with your institution needed, or you have to see how you can solve that problem, but that is something that is not to take on your account. That is sometimes a very sad way of missing the way to do it. Common concerns, we already heard some of them. The doubts about the student engagement. Will they be motivated enough to take the course? Second concern, I prefer to teach live. I prefer not to teach online. I can tell there, flipped and blended, teaching is not only teaching online. It is also teaching live. The teaching live will be more into that. Complexity of ICT and tools is also a often heard concern. And the preference not to change, the will to stay and to leave everything as it is now, which is the most easiest thing to do. But as we will see also in August, yeah, the train is driving, we can't stop, also with artificial intelligence, which we will include into the training. You can't stop it anymore. So it's better to jump on the train, I think. How?
Sorry,
Yes. Gessen?
Yeah. So regarding the content in general, or whether it's a video or otherwise, I mean, we could use or apply the micro learning concept.
Yes.
And short, I mean, try to make the content, whether it's a video or otherwise, as short as possible, talking about exactly or on one point only. So that would make it easier for what you were saying, perhaps like you may pose questions, you get the attraction or the attention of the students and so on. So try to not to, if even not, whether you download the video from YouTube or create your own, don't make it long, more than maybe 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah.
I suggest maybe 5 minutes at most. That would be within the concept of micro learning.
Yeah,
and that would be helpful.
Yeah, that's sure, and that's why we will also have a tool to edit the YouTube videos or others and split them into parts. That's what I also said in the introduction. It is so important. The students have to indeed micro learn. They see the whole video in parts, and in between they have questions or they do something else. It's also for us, it's the same. When you have to watch a long video, your attention is gone at a certain way. So we have to split all the content, not only the videos, into parts that they can overview and overlook. Okay. So please, if you think about blending and flipping your contents, it doesn't mean you have to blend everything. Start small. I already told you. It is a good way now to have this project, but it will not help you to change everything at once. Ask yourself, what competences do you and your team already have, and what are you still missing? And you can learn, but you can also ask. As I told before, it's not necessary that everyone has the same competences. It's necessary to find the competences and someone to help you or to explain you. And of course, we will also provide you with lots of material during this project. You have to know what you want to reach. If you don't think about the objectives, remind the Bloom's taxonomy, it will not work. You have to choose the right and carefully the learning objectives, and also think what it's in it for you. If it's only taking time, energy, and leading to frustration, then it's not okay. It should, after a while, help you to teach in another way and to have more time. That is strange for you to hear now, but it is what it is, and it is what will happen after you have used all the tools and made your material. Yeah. It's not at all. And we see that sometimes a Control-C, Control-V thing. It's not blended learning, flipped classroom learning. Making a good learning path doesn't mean a copy-paste of what you have in your handbooks or in your courses, copy-pasting it in a structured way. No, it is much more than that. You add tools for interactivity, for motivation, you add other media, etc. If the only thing you want to do is to copy paste, it's better that you don't do it. And get inspired. It's always so nice, and I saw it in Slovenia, and Maya, we saw it, how much, and with the Polyflip project, how much the participants were inspiring each other. They were adding so much things that we even didn't, Lester and me didn't think about, because we can all inspire. We are all teaching, we are all teachers, we all have experience, and we all have the motivation to give our content and knowledge to our students, so we can inspire each other. And already today, with some of the questions and interactions that were made, I got inspired to make it better and look at it in another way for some parts. Everything that I told you is in the presentations, is also on the Moodle course of FTP, of the Polyflip project. And it is Yeah, important for you that you go through module 1 and 2. You will see many things that we already talked about, but you see it there in a structured way in a learning path. The most important for me is what you will present on Thursday. Because you will have 2 days after this day of individual learning that could be go through my presentation again, watch the videos, or if you knew already everything, no problem, take the templates and think about what you want to blend more or flip more than you already did. The link is here. And then please use the templates. I will make sure that the last template is also available to download and to see. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4 templates you can use. Do you have to present the templates? No. What you have to present is your idea. What will you give in a flipped way? So what will you give? What will you ask the students to learn before coming to the classroom? Or will you start by doing something in class, then ask them to come? Already think about the media you would like to use. Do you have all the skills? What do you need more? What are tools you think, maybe this is existing, but I don't know about, and I would like to use it, etc. So that will be the presentation you will do. About your ideas. You can use the templates, but the presentation can be just telling what you will do, what your target group will be. Did you already think about the modules, the timing, the aims, the objectives, and a draft of your learning path. And as we did long ago in my class of Latin, and I was always learning my little words very carefully because I was always afraid to be taken out randomly. I will randomly and really randomly choose some of you to present. It can be telling something, telling what you have in mind, giving a presentation, showing one slide with a drawing, etc. It's up to you how you do it, but please all go through the material and think about it, add your questions, your ideas, and come up with an idea on day 4. Then before in the training in August, we will ask you to already look for all the contents you want to blend for your idea, or you want to flip for your idea. You bring the content with you when you come to Slovenia, and then we will use the content together with the tools to already make your new course. On day 5, and that is the last day of this week, Lester and me will have a very small, we will not go into details, but already present some of the ideas we have about the tools we will present in August. We will also list up the software and the material you can already install on your laptops before you come to Slovenia. And we will also give you instructions on what you have to do and to bring with you for the face-to-face course. And that is the end of my presentation. I think I made it within the time. We have some more minutes for questions. I will stop sharing now.
Again, it's me, Lut.
Yes.
In the slide showing, or that presentation content choice, you said one of the tips, or at least warning, is blended learning is more than putting the same content in a new dress only.
Yes. Yes.
My comment is that I would borrow the term from the software industry somehow. I mean, we have there some terms or a terminology saying software reuse.
Mhm.
And well, that stands where you could, based on in the software, and again, this is the modular design for software, and where we design the small modules of the software, which each module, of course, is supposed to perform one task only. So if we take that concept of micro learning, where we have the content in a very short or a small size, let's say,
Yes.
for a specific purpose, talking about a certain or a specific point, couldn't that be somehow reused in different situations or different,
Sure.
I mean,
Sure. You can
occasions for the same offering of the course?
Yeah, sure. You can reuse it, but if it's only taking, imagine you have like 50 pages of text.
No,
and
that's not the case. That's not what I'm
you
talking
copy paste this text into pieces and put that in Moodle in a learning part. That is not helping anything. That is what I mean. You use, of course, the same content, but with the learning part, you will that is well structured, and that is you add conditionality, you add tests, you add a lot of other things, and you add other media to tell the same to give the same content to the students, but in a more motivating way. So if the only thing you would do, you take the 50 pages and you copy paste page per page in a module, that is what I wanted to say. That has no meaning at all. So I totally agree with what you say. Yes. Yeah. And that is also what I meant. You add a lot of other things to it. Of course, your content can be the same, but what comes, that's the PCRET model. What comes with it and how it is used and taught will be so different.
Thank you.
Do we have other questions? No, I see no. Okay. So I think you have a lot of, yes? Yes.
Sorry, yeah, because
Nua, yes. Hi, Nua.
I don't think why there's resonance. Okay, maybe I feel that the slide number 4 is not clear for all, because there is because they mix between what you want to prepare and the courses that nominated to be developed after we make the capacity building for the team. Till now we cannot develop the courses based on flipped approach, because it is not clear for us all aspects or all elements of this approach. Then if you please, can you concentrate more about what do you need from this 4 points in the day 4? Because
Okay.
I think that they mix.
Yeah. So if you take Nua, all the templates that we have, you have the first template where you only have to decide about what is the content I would like to, it's an idea, I would like to present in a flipped way. From that content, what oh, am I there now?
Yes, you are back.
Yeah. Okay. I'm sorry. I will. Someone at muted was muting me. Yes. So no, that was funny. It was you. Thank you very much. No, I'm joking. Nua, I'm joking. So what we need you to do is we can't give you any training without taking it very personal about your content. So what the first thing we need is the first template, what's there. from all the content you share with your students and you teach, what content would you like to teach in a blended or a flipped way? That can be a part of a course that exists, can be a content that you teach, or can be content that is taught in your institution. So think about that. Next will be, for example, I remember one of the participants only wanted of the other project only wanted to tell about how to work safe in a lab. That was the course that they wanted to give in a flipped way, and the students go through the course online, then come to the lab and know already how to work in a safe way. You see? So think about what would be interesting for my students and for me to take as an example of, and it can be an example, or it can be what will be your result at the end of this project. What do you want to try out with blended learning or online or flipped classroom learning? Then you decide, it's just the concept in your, we have to start somewhere, eh? It's the concept in your mind. If I take this, what could students already do online before coming to the class? Okay, that's the second thing that will be in your presentation. Then next thing will be, okay, I will now think about how can I present all these things? Do I already know how to edit videos? Do I want to make my own videos? Do I have a lot of text that I will put into another way of showing it? What will I do with the content I have, and how will I present it? Who is my target group? Who will be the students taking this course? So everything that is in that Canvas model, you will see all the questions are there. Also, what are my objectives? What is knowledge I don't have already, etc. So you go through every question, and I could say it's a theoretical way of looking at it, but it's already going deeper than that, because you already start thinking about how to implement it. And then when you have that, you can also decide on how many percentage will my students in my head know. It can change along the way, but in your head now, how many percentage of this whole course do I think they can do on their own? And what can they do in class? The next part is then, how can I divide it into modules? Will it be only one module at home, one module in class? How will I divide it in modules? Indeed, the aim is to try to plan. So I know it's from abstract to concrete, but it's what you have to go through. And the templates can help you. And if you can do it without the templates and answering all the questions, it's no problem. The form, there is a Google form on one of the last slides. This is a nice way to get an overview of all the questions you can answer during the presentation. I will share my screen again because I stopped sharing. There we go. And I will look back. It's very good that you clearly want to understand. Okay, there we go. I thought it was gone. I will try to find, no, it was further. I think, yes. We will come to it. I'm sorry. Yeah, here. That was what I wanted to show you. Some of you will not need the first two templates. They will already be able to fill in the storyboard. Others just don't have an idea yet. So for them, the first template will be the most interesting, just to think, what is the content I would like to use to learn this blended learning way of teaching? And there is an online form. I will click on the link now. And this is what you can provide Lester and me but you can also use it for your presentation. This is what we will work with to prepare the live training. What is your course content? How is the proportion of face-to-face and distance learning? This is all in the storyboard. What is the group size of your class? What will be the content of your online course? Think about the first template. What will be the objectives of the online course? How will you evaluate the online content? What will be the face-to-face content, etc. So these are all things you can think about. And you see here, which digital technology tools do you already know and which do you want to know? So we will see there, also Lester and me, what you need. And that is why I also would like you to present, to start thinking about it, but also for us to know how we can help you to do what you want to do.